What is the governor trying to do? He'll have Mustafa Kemal recite the Mawlid and have Mustafa Kemal recite the prayers. So, people will pray there. They'll pray for Mustafa Kemal. Now, the question is, was Mustafa Kemal a believer in religion? Did Mustafa Kemal believe in the prophethood of the prophet? Did Mustafa Kemal believe that God created humanity? For example, we currently have Mustafa Kemal's works published by the state. I'll give you an example. During his lifetime, there was a history textbook taught in middle and high schools. Mustafa Kemal specifically had the Islamic history section prepared. We currently have Mustafa Kemal's works, which are all published works, that is, the works he wrote. Mustafa Kemal looks at the prophet like this. He says Muhammad is not a dervish, as some claim. He's not a dervish who withdraws from his corner and counts his prayer beads. He says a dervish cannot devise a plan for a battle like the Battle of Uhud. In other words, he says there's a political and a military dimension. But Muhammad, he says, was a reformer born from among the Arabs. He thought, and wrote the Quran to educate the Arabs, to reform the Arabs, to transform them into an empire. In other words, he wrote the Quran as a program, as a constitution for the Arabs. But he later claimed that it was given to him by a supernatural force. So, according to Mustafa Kemal, the messenger of God is not a prophet. The Quran that the messenger of God read to us is not a revelation. In other words, it is something our prophet wrote himself. God forbid, and what have you. So, when we read Suleiman Celebi's book, Veseletin Nikat, the Veseletin Nikat, written for the prophet's soul, to such a man, are we doing him a favor or a disservice? In my opinion, we are doing him a disservice. Just as taking an atheist to the mosque, washing him, shrouding him, praying, and burying him is an evil act, an insult to him, so is saying to a leader who says, I don't believe in God, who says, I don't believe in the book, who says, I don't believe in prophethood, who has written this as a lesson in school textbooks, taught it to people, and who wants the country to grow up this way, saying, I will have the Mawlid recited for this person, I will have the mercy recited for this person. This isn't a favor to him. It's one of the greatest evils done to him and to the ideas he left behind. Quote, so, then, we need to ask this question. Can someone who doesn't believe the prophet is a prophet, who doesn't believe the Quran is the Quran, who doesn't believe that God is the creator, and who believes that Islam is a religion written by the prophet himself, be a Muslim? So, let's say today, if our son, our father, our brother, God forbid, put forward such an idea, would we call him a Muslim? We wouldn't. A Mawlid wouldn't be recited to a non-Muslim. No mercy will be shown to a non-Muslim. Yeah.